Hey friends, Sean here from the beautiful Winelands of South Africa, and let me ask you a question right now. What is your greatest fear? What is your greatest fear? And I say that with a bit of a smirk on my face, because I'm thinking back to a fear that I encountered in my life a number of years ago, and it might be funny now. It wasn't funny then, and I'll share more of that story with you. While you think about your fear, what is your fear? What is something that's maybe held you back, that's still got the better of you, and you want to get the better of it? But my wife and I live in the beautiful Winelands of South Africa. I had the pharmacy in Franschhoek here up until 2008, and sold up to really kind of discover and live my purpose. Became a certified John Maxwell speaker, coach and trainer, mentored with some of the best folks in the world. Les Brown, very, very, very blessed just to meet incredible people who, as I say, when you see further, it's because you're standing on the shoulder of giants, and they are giants. So what is your greatest fear? And I'm thinking back to a specific story for myself, and this kind of runs in the family. So this fear might be a fear that you can identify with. Maybe your fear is the fear of heights, I don't know. But claustrophobia, or the fear of confined spaces, is definitely something that has run in the certainly from my father through to us siblings, and of all of the siblings, I think I have it the least. But let me tell you, I encountered it in a big way. Just a number of years ago, we took our kids through the Kango Caves in Oudtshoorn here in South Africa. And for those of you who don't know the Kango Caves, it's deep underground and it's very confined spaces. And I remember the first time I went through, and our kids were very tiny at the time, and we went all the way through, and it was all fine. The next time I went back, the kids were a little bit bigger, and I just said to my wife, look, I think you take them through. I was feeling a little bit, it's just quite a hot and humid day. I said, you take them through, and I'll have a cappuccino here in the cafeteria, and we'll catch up later. But anyway, Michelle took the kids through, and while she was on her trip, I noticed that there was another trip going off, but just as a short trip. It was just through 6 or 7 of these caves, as it were. So I thought, oh, well, I'll just join that one. That doesn't sound too bad. And I should have probably seen the signs. I got into that first chamber, and they turned the lights off, and my heart began to race a little bit, and the old palms got a little bit sweaty, and beads of sweat were forming on the forehead. But I can tell you that I couldn't turn back, so I thought, well, let me just carry on pressing through. And we got through to, I think, chamber 6 or 7. I can't remember where it was. But I was in this long line of people, and it really was a hot and humid day. There was a huge group, I think about 100 people, and I was in the middle of this group, and it was a very confined space. It was this passageway going through single file, couldn't turn back, couldn't go forward, couldn't run away, and it was like I had this full-on blown kind of panic attack, where my legs turned to jelly, and I still remember sort of slapping myself and saying, Sean, you wuss, don't be silly, man, come on, pull yourself together, Sean. Kind of like talk to yourself, get in line, get in line. And it's all very funny now, but I'm telling you now, I could hardly breathe. My heart was just, it felt like it was about to burst out my chest. And I mean, being a pharmacist, I've helped people with panic attacks, I've helped people with depression, I've helped people with anxiety all my life, and all of a sudden I really encountered it for myself, and I realized there's no ways that I could carry on going through these chambers. So I just told the guide, listen, I'm out of here. And she said to me, look, she had to stay with the group, which is obviously right. And I started making my way back out through the Kango Caves. But I can just tell you, if you ever do that, don't, first of all, because flip, it was scary. You don't realize what it's like walking through those caves on your own. But needless to say, I got out eventually, after kind of like panicking that I would be lost in these caves forever without a torch. Anyway, got out of the caves, and just breathed in that fresh air. Can you feel it? It's going into my lungs right now. I feel like I'm having a bit of a panic there just telling you about the story. In fact, I remember Dave, my brother, if you ever watch this video, I was telling him the story, and I think I got to the first minute of the story, and he had to get up and find his asthma pump. He just couldn't take it. So yeah, what is my fear? I think that's definitely one of the fears that I've had in my life as a kid. I don't know whether I got stuck in a tunnel or got stuck underground or what happened to me, but I know that claustrophobia is definitely something that runs in our family. My poor dad, my late dad, had it, and my sisters, my brother, and myself have it. My mom doesn't have it, but I think I've got it least of all the siblings, but it's still a significant fear. What is your fear? Maybe it's fear of heights. You know, I don't know what it might be. Maybe you can identify with claustrophobia. Maybe it's that fear of spiders, like my wifey, or the fear of snakes. We saw a beautiful Cape Cobra in the grass the other day. It's not something that I fear, but maybe it's the fear of public speaking. You know, a lot of people say that I think 95% of people would rather be in the casket than give the eulogy at the funeral. Maybe I see that hand. You know, I've seen a few people that literally forget their name when they go on stage, and you ask them to introduce themselves. They forget their name. They forget where they are. I've seen a guy do a 1,000-yard stare on a number of occasions, where you give him the mic to speak, and for 30 seconds the guy just stands and looks like a deer stuck in the headlights. Maybe that's you. Maybe that's one of your fears. I don't know what your fear is, but I know that we all battle fears, and it might not be a significant fear like that, a real phobia. It might just be something that's really holding you back. It's probably also a limiting belief. Maybe you really wanted to, start that new business. Maybe you've wanted to write that book. I wrote a book, and I know what it's like starting that journey in writing a book. I've written a couple of books. I know the first time that I stood on stage, I remember telling a friend of mine, whatever you do not call me and ask me to stand on stage. You can ask me a question from the stage, but don't ever ask me to come up on stage. And someone else didn't hear that and called me to come up on stage and said, Sean, you're a pharmacist, come and talk to us a little bit about nutrition. And I remember walking to the front of that room. That was back in 2008 or 2007. It was there. I think it was 2007 or 2008. And I remember, when you get up from your chair and your chair kind of comes with you because your bum's biting a hole in the chair. Well, it felt like that. And I just remember thinking to myself, no, I can't. And it was like, yes, I can. No, I can't. Yes, I can. And I remember turning at the front of that room and facing that group of people, and thinking to myself, well, not only am I facing my fears, but I'm actually facing my destiny. This is what I was born to do. And I've probably spoken thousands and thousands and thousands of times in front of groups of people, but I've still got to get those butterflies to fly in formation. And so what is your fear? Let me come back to you. What is your fear? Maybe you really want to get married, but right now you've got a fear. You've been let down before. You've been hurt before. You've been disappointed before. Someone's abused you in the past, and you're really scared right now. There's actually somebody out there that you really love, but you're scared to tie that knot. You're scared to make that leap. Maybe right now you're thinking of having children, but you yourself battle as a child. Maybe you were abused as a kid. Maybe you are really concerned about the way you would raise a child, or raising children in this world, and you just can't commit to having kids right now. I don't know what your greatest fear is in your life, but I know that we all have these fears. And I know one thing is that being a part of the John Maxwell team, and being part and having mentors, having coaches in my life over a significant period of time, investing heavily in my life and my personal growth and development, there is no ways that I would be standing in front of you right now, speaking into this camera, speaking to you. There would be no ways that I would have been able to share my story with hundreds and hundreds of people as a life coach, had it not been for the mentors and coaches in my life. They always say, if I've seen further, it's because I'm standing on the shoulders of giants. All of us need a coach. All of us need a mentor. All of us need somebody, a confidant, a mastermind, to be able to share our ideas with. And sometimes it's not just because we're looking for advice. coaches really believe that the answer is within you anyway, and they help you to unlock that answer for yourself. Mentors are a little different. They give you a little bit of hindsight. They give you a bit of their hindsight becomes your foresight. They give you a bit of input. But sometimes it's just walking alongside someone, being there. Maybe it's it's that old sort of adage of when two guys go fishing, they don't talk to each other, but they come back and it's like therapy. Maybe you ladies can identify. Maybe it's somewhere else at the salon. I don't know, but I know that it's being alongside someone, that mastermind effect, that mentor, that coach, that can really significantly change your life, help you to overcome that fear that you're wanting to deal with, that fear that you're wanting to overcome, that fear that's holding you back from becoming your best version of yourself. Not becoming your brother, not becoming your sister, not becoming that other friend that you envy maybe. No. Becoming you, yeah. So I've connected with you today just really from my heart, no script, just out here in the beautiful Winelands. Isn't that a lovely view in the back over the river? And I'm just connecting with you because I wanted you to hear my heart. This is Sean. And as John Maxwell says, hi, my name's Sean and I'm your friend. I'm your friend. If you are serious and hungry about changing your life, get yourself a coach, get yourself a mentor. It may be me, it may not be me, I don't know. We'd have to see whether it's the right fit. But get yourself somebody to walk alongside of, somebody that you respect, somebody that you trust, and somebody that can take and allow their hindsight to become your foresight and help you on your life journey. So I hope this has been a significant time of connecting with me. I hope my little story spoke to you. Maybe you've been really thinking about that fear that's holding you back. And yeah, I'm not, claustrophobia is not something that I'm trying to overcome per se, that phobia. But there's been significant phobias for me. As I say, the fear of speaking on stage. Sure, so many different fears. And I know that you can overcome your fear if you decide. What a powerful word. Decide. Decide today. Reach out and let's take it from there. This has been Sean Willard from the beautiful Winelands of South Africa, your life attack guy. And I trust that this next year, this next decade, and the rest of your life, you'll live a life of significance. So one day when people say, and they describe your life in one sentence, as John Maxwell says, it'll be a great sentence. Cheers for now.